So we got an early look at Team USA U18 team yesterday, and it's time to discuss it. They defeat Argentina by 22 points. I got to watch a bunch of this morning. I went back and watched like 90% of this game, and then I stopped before the very end of it. But 88-66 was the final score. I have some thoughts. We're interested in this team for a bunch of reasons. Daniel Jacobsen, the next big Purdue big, is the starting center on this team. Illinois fans should be interested because Jeremiah Fears and Merez Johnson are also on this team. Darius Acuff, Trey McKenney are on this team, two State of Michigan kids. This is the most interested I've been in U18 Team USA basketball in my entire life, and it was fun to get an early look at them. What was your first impression of this team?
My first impression is that the I guess the basketball organization of Argentina national team, they don't teach not to attack 7-footers. That was my very first takeaway. Daniel Jacobsen is going to be a rim protector, I think, in his time at the college level, given his size and things like that. But for the love of God, Argentina made it very, very easy by just continually going at him and begging him to block shots. But in this game, I did see a lot of things that I like, and obviously, given the points that you brought up, there's a lot of interesting prospects in this. You have the Big Ten prospects and Merez Johnson and Jacobsen that are coming in next year. Obviously, Jeremiah Fears is committed to Illinois as well. So, there's some other players that even you and I talked about. We did a real long video on Jasper Johnson. Darian Reeves going to be playing at Bama. So a lot of interest definitely in this. I will say this. Not the best game to watch, just to kind of keep it a buck with you. It was a little bit sloppy. Obviously these guys haven't played together too long, but just a lot of turnovers in this basketball game, some sloppy play, a lot of missed shots from a lot of different players. McKenney struggled from the field. Acuff ended up being pretty efficient, but he got his fair share of shots up, as he should, because he is a bucket. But the game was a little bit disjointed or discombobulated, I think is the word I would use. But definitely some moments from a lot of players that I saw, that give me a lot of, good feelings going forward.
Yeah, look, I'm still really interested in watching this team. I'm going to watch more of it. You got to my main takeaway by the end of your monologue there, which is that was horrible basketball by
Okay.
everyone.
We didn't get to talk about it before,
Yeah.
so I didn't want to come on and say, but I just want to. I'm glad that me and you both saw the same thing. That was some terrible hoop.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that there aren't good things from certain players, and we're going to get to that, especially Daniel Jacobsen. But I have watched enough Team USA youth ball. Like I watched the FIBA tournaments in the past that Zach Edey played on with Wemby, with Chet. Jaden Ivey was on those teams. Very interested in those teams. Felt like I was watching a different world, a different sport last night. And look, I know there's talented kids on this team. There's kids that are going to be great Big Ten basketball players. There's kids that are going to be pros. I still believe Jasper Johnson's awesome, and he like barely played last night. I'm sorry, Team USA could not make a shot. It looked like Michigan basketball. That's why I'm almost confusing that. They were 2 for 22 from 3. Players not named Christopher Brown were 0 for 13 from 3. As a team, they shot 56% from the free throw line, and they won by 22. And I don't know, the world has gotten way better at basketball. Very unimpressed with Argentina's under 18 team. With the
Yeah,
way Team USA shot the ball, I don't get it.
Yeah, Andreas Nocioni did not die for this. Okay, he did not walk so these kids can come out here and do this. But yeah, it was. I mean, it was very sloppily played. I must agree. But what I'll do is I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. Okay, like quick turnaround, coming off making the team, the excitement of that, going overseas, first game is completely different. The vibe just felt different. I know you're a body language expert. Are you a basketball net expert at all? Do you have any comments on the nets at the FIBA tournament?
I have no comment on the Nets, the FIBA tournament. I'm not an expert in that.
You used to be a net guy, remember?
I no, I'm anti-net.
Oh,
I've always been net.
you're
Yeah.
anti-net. Oh, I forgot about that. Okay, never mind.
I have no comment. Yeah, let's go player by player because as gross as it was, as unimpressed with Argentina as I was, and as poor as Team USA shot the ball, there were takeaways, player specific here I want to get into. I thought the best player on the floor pretty clearly was Darius Acuff, who, at least from a scoring perspective, he led Team USA in scoring. He had 22 points. He was 9 for 18 from the floor, 9 for 16 from 2-point range. He kind of got wherever he wanted. Um, he didn't create much for others, and that's one of my takeaways in general from Team USA is that I think every guard on this team is wired to score, or at least was trying to score. And I guess it makes sense. Like Acuff's a score first point, McKenny's a score first guard. I think Jeremiah Fears is a score first guard. I think Jasper Johnson's a score first guard. So there you go. There's your guards for Team USA. And I don't feel that there was much creation for others, which you kind of expect from a bunch of 17-year-old kids that don't normally play together. But Acuff's the only one who impressed me. Everybody else was pretty gross last night. But Acuff is a guy I want very badly.
Yeah, he's really good. The creation of this team, it did seem that they lean more into scoring guards instead of guards that have the pass button on their controller. A lot of these guys don't have the A or the X button, depending on what game system you play, which is fine. But I do think there will be a little bit more continuity in there. You know, Trey McKinney has been a favorite prospect of mine. I know you brought up Acuff. I would put Acuff in who I was most impressed with as well. I was still impressed with McKinney, even though his shot wasn't falling. Because one, his shot's gonna fall. Like, don't I promise you that Trey McKinney will be able to have himself a good game next game. I'll bet any money on that. He was still able to get 6 boards, 4 assists in this game, which led his team. So he actually did pass the ball and had 3 steals to go along with that. Even though he didn't shoot well, obviously 2 for 10, didn't make a 3-pointer, struggled a little bit from that spot. He was still one of the team best at plus 19, even not shooting that well. So I still liked what I saw from McKinney despite his shot not falling.
Yeah, I mean, he was plus 19 because he was third on the team in minutes.
Hey, we're not doing
Well,
that.
I disagree strongly if you came away impressed with Trey McKinney.
I didn't come away impressed with anybody if we're going to keep it a buck.
Yeah, I thought this was the worst I've seen from McKinney. And I have not seen McKinney in person, but I have watched full games. I have seen highlights. I'll be blunt and honest. He looked out of shape to me. And I know he's a big bodied kid. Kind of feel like he's getting bigger. Like if you're a big bodied recruit, at a certain point, you don't want to continue getting bigger. Like just maybe stay where you're at and use that size. And look, I'm not saying I've weighed him to know, but he looked a step slow. He looked out of control to me in this game. He was out to get his buckets. He did lead the team in assists, which I think is an indictment on all the other guards on this team more than it is a statement on how good Trey McKinney was at setting the table for everybody else. But yeah, I thought he was pretty poor last night. He really struggled. He's also, it makes sense he's struggling. They list his name as John McKinney III. His name is Trey McKinney, and they're calling him John. Like, no wonder he was horrible last night. Do you think it's a problem that McKinney and Acuff combined to get 52 minutes in this game, and Jasper Johnson and Jeremiah Fears combined to play 21 minutes?
Yeah, I didn't get the minute allocation whatsoever in all regards. It didn't make sense to me.
I mean, it just looks like they've decided Acuff and McKinney are their guys. And on a team that was really struggling to create for others, I would have loved to see more Fears and definitely more Jasper Johnson, who I think is the best point guard prospect in that class. And they both had moments. Like Jeremiah Fears has no problem getting them up. He got 6 shot attempts in 13 minutes and was 2 for 6 from the floor, 2 for 3 from 2-point range. He just couldn't buy a 3. 3 rebounds and assists, 3 steals in only 13 minutes. Like Fears was making things happen in the limited time he got on the court. I feel as good as I ever have about Jeremiah after this game. And yeah, I would have liked to see a lot more Jasper, who had a second team lowest 8 minutes last night. The lowest minutes that I can see in this box score was Merez Johnson. Merez Johnson
No,
only played
there's
7.
another guy who played 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah, Nathan Ament. Okay, so Merez was second lowest with 7 minutes. Jeremiah Fears was the third lowest, I believe, with 13 minutes. Or no, Jasper Johnson was third lowest with 8. I don't know. I'm all over the place with this box score. The point is these guys didn't play much. What was your impression with Merez only playing 7 minutes?
So the part about this game being like discombobulated and awful basketball, like I thought it would lead to like, let's shift away from the guys that are playing awful hoop and see what the other guys could do. But it seemed that, and I believe head coach is Tommy Lloyd, correct?
I don't know who's coaching. I couldn't tell.
Okay, I'm pretty sure the head coach is Tommy Lloyd, but I
Yeah,
might
it
be
is. It
mistaken
is
on
Tommy
that.
Lloyd. It's listed here.
Yeah, a little. Actually, that makes a lot more sense. Why some of the that really adds up. Why some of the guys who maybe were a little bit inefficient seem to be just playing all those types of minutes. No wonder he loves Darius Acuff. He probably gets a little bit of nostalgia from some of his former players or current players still actually. But I, I was disappointed to see that guys like Merez, Jeremiah, Jasper Johnson, even guys like Darren Reed didn't get more minutes in this basketball game because one, I thought they were productive in the very small minutes that they played, and two, the other guys were struggling. So I mean, in these type of settings, in the FIBA settings, having talented teams like this should give you leeway to go with guys that are hooping over guys that aren't hooping, and that
Yeah.
didn't seem to be the case in this one.
Yeah,
Even though they won by 22.
Cart Merez Johnson had 6 points and 4 rebounds in 7 minutes last night. Can I get those per 40s from you?
He has not reached Dane status yet. You earned that.
He's close. He's very close. And the per 40s would be special last night if we were 30 and 20 if he just played the whole game. Yeah, I thought Merez looked great. I don't get why he didn't play more. I think off the eye test, he looks like one of the better players on this team. So yeah, free my ILL guys. Tommy, I don't like this. I might be cooking up a Tommy Lloyd conspiracy theory here. I've never liked that a sitting college coach gets to coach this team. That doesn't feel fair to me. Like there's a bunch of 5-star recruits that could decide if they want to play for Tommy Lloyd after this week.
Well, I think it's always been that way though.
But I don't like it, especially when it's Tommy Lloyd.
What if Paint's on the staff?
I would like it more, but I just
I think
yeah,
wait, either he is or he was. He used to be.
he used to be. Beeline was before. It used to be like if it's a legend, if it's a Hall of Famer, then sure. Like Coach K is coaching the team. Okay, he's Coach K. It's Tommy Lloyd, man. Why does Tommy Lloyd get a leg up on everybody right now? I don't get it. I mean, I can't believe we made it this far without like going deep dive into this. The second best player, arguably the best overall player, just not best scorer for Team USA last night, was Big Dan. That's my new nickname for Daniel Jacobsen. He's Big Dan. You don't like the nickname?
No, we got to go with something other than Big Dan.
He's Big Dan. He's big.
You're better than that, though.
Skinny Dan.
Yeah, I'm gonna cook up something.
All right, we'll let you get back to that. Daniel Jacobsen was extremely, extremely, extremely good last night. He finished with 9 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 blocks in 20 minutes. What were your first impressions of Daniel Jacobsen?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a guy who has a soft touch, right? He's not necessarily like a physically imposing player or anything like that. For Purdue fans, I think the obvious comp for him is a Matt Harms-esque player. That's what I think like maybe his ceiling might be or what he could be for Purdue. The main takeaway for me in this game is that I think Will Berg missed an opportunity to enter the portal. That was the main takeaway with me. I know he's taking that trip to Greece. He might just want to stay over there and look for future opportunities because
It's a
it won't
little
be at
harsh.
Mackey.
It's a little harsh. Purdue faithful, let this man know how disrespectful he's being in the comments right now. We don't hate on Will Berg. We don't know. No, Daniel. I mean, he looks and moves like Matt Harms, and I don't know if I mean that as a compliment or not. I would never think that's a compliment, but like you watch him and you're like, I've seen that before. It's Matt Harms.
Yeah, well, and this is the thing for me. Jacobson is going to be a good college basketball player, but like, there's this narrative that like, oh, we got to deal with this again. Like, oh, here we got another Edie type. He ain't Edie. No one is going to be.
I would say this: if he were 6'9", we're not talking about him. But the reality is he's 7'3", and or however tall he is, and like, but like that, it's one of those things where like the stature really does elevate you, especially
Yeah,
when you get to Painter in his system.
yeah,
So
and especially when you're playing a team that I could start for. Argentina is bad. I want to make that also very clear.
what I will say here, I think Jacobson's going to be better than Matt Harms pretty clearly, but I do think that's the comp. I don't think it's like we're probably going to have to constantly like do, oh, well, Edie's replacement, but he's never going to play like Edie. He plays a lot like Harms stylistically. He is a way better shot blocker than Matt Harms was. And you talk about how shot blocking is an art form. That's a sentence I got from you when we did the Donovan Clingan NBA video. This kid is an advanced artist right now at shot blocking. I'll be shocked if he doesn't lead the Big Ten in blocks one day, maybe immediately. His instincts are fantastic. He moves incredibly well. Like you said, he has soft touch. He's got to develop something offensively. Like right now, it does feel like he just kind of floats and wants to be a shooter. He's got to
He
he's got to get an inside answer.
he's got a little bit of that. The thing that bothers you. This is my biggest pet peeve. And it's my biggest pet peeve because I used to do it all the time. It's when you're big and you fade. He has a little bit of like
Yeah.
that. When I drop step, I hook shot, I fade away from the hoop. And obviously, he's a freshman. Like that's something he'll probably develop. He's gonna get stronger. I'm sure of that Brantley's gonna get his hands on him and probably do wonders with him. But he does have a little bit of like fading, and he doesn't dunk the ball enough for my liking either.
Well, it's young. He kind of does operate as if he was like 6'4" last week, and now he's 7'2". But yeah, I was really impressed defensively with him. Like to me, he's college ready defensively right now. I think there's no way he's not in the Purdue rotation next year. I know there's been a lot of speculation of like, well, they're not going to play Berg and him. He's going to play. He's going to play like probably 10 minutes a game next season minimum. Because defensively he's ready right away. So it was impressive. Let's end this with a little stock up, stock neutral, stock down. Stock up for you from last night.
I'd go Jacobsen and Darian Reed.
I'm going stock up, Acuff and Jacobsen. Stock neutral,
Stock neutral. I'm gonna go McKinney, Acuff, Fears.
Illinois guys. Merez and Fears is stock neutral for me. Stock down.
Everyone else in Argentina.
Stock down for me is Tommy Lloyd and Trey McKinney. There you go. The NBA draft is coming up, and I've got something awesome for you. We are partnering with the people at NBA 2K Lab. NBA 2K is the best video game on earth. The people at 2K Lab are making some awesome stuff to make that game even more fun, and they just launched their 2024 NBA Draft Simulator, where you can find the official Sleepers Media big board. We ranked our top 75 players in this draft class. Me, Carter, Brian Ralph, Riley Davis. We did it together, and it is featured on the 2K Lab NBA Draft Simulator. You can take control of any team in the draft, play GM with just one click, and see our entire rankings before these videos even come out. Check out the link in the description of this video to try out the draft sim for yourself, and you can find more mini games at nba2klab.com/NBA-mini-games.